Hi folks, Johnny Cash here, and this geometry lesson is on surface area of prisms and cylinders. All right, let's review. Here's some examples of pictures of right prisms and oblique prisms, okay? And then notice the altitudes on these, which are the heights, okay? This is a rectangular, a right rectangular prism, because they're all right angles inside of there, and the height's out here. That one's pretty easy to see. It's just a box, you guys. Okay, here's an oblique prism. An oblique prism, it just means it's not a right prism. And it's a triangular prism because these two bases right here, those are my congruent polygons. Those are my bases, so they're triangles. So it's called an oblique triangular prism. Here's a right pentagonal prism because the bases here are the pentagons, the congruent pentagons right here, okay? And then here's the height out here, and it's a right one because it doesn't show it, but there's supposed to be a little right angle right here, and all these are right angles. Notice on the right prisms, you guys, they're all rectangles, and on the lateral areas, they're all rectangles. See this rectangle up front right here? Okay, see this rectangle right here? On the side right here, they're all rectangles right here. Same on this guy right here. These guys, they're all parallelograms. All of them are parallelograms. They end up being, at least on the right ones, they're all congruent, not on the oblique ones. Anyway, all right, let's try some of these. Okay, here's some steps how to find the surface area of a prism. Okay, and it's just steps, you guys. They're not hard. You just got to follow it. So you got to find the area of the base. It could be a triangle, it could be a rectangle, it could be a pentagon or a hexagon, or it could be a circle. So find the area of the base and then double it because there's two bases. You got a top base and a bottom base. Um, and then you find the perimeter of that base, and we'll call it P, and then you multiply that by the altitude, which is PH, which is the height, you guys, the H is. And then so where your final answer, your surface area becomes your whatever you got number 2, 2B, and you add it to number 4, which is PH. So let's try that with this guy right here. So find the surface area of each prism. Okay, so this guy is a right triangular prism. And before I find the base, you guys, what I'm going to do first is get this hypotenuse because I need the hypotenuse for the perimeter in the second part of that. So I'm going to take care of that right away and get the hypotenuse, you guys. So remember Pythagorean theorem, you got a right triangle, so 7 squared plus 10 squared equals x squared. 7 squared is 49. 10 squared is 100, so when you add them together, you get 149. So since x squared equals that, then x is the square root of that. So I get 12.21. All right, so now let's find the base, you guys. Okay, so the base, if I stood up that triangle, it would look like this, you guys. And remember, a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So over here, I have 1/2 base times height, which is 35. Then I double that because I want 2b. All right, now I'm going to find the perimeter. So the perimeter of the triangle is going to be 7 plus 10 plus that hypotenuse, 12.21, and you get 29.21. And then I multiply that times the height. And then I take that 146.05 and I add that to 70 to get the total surface area. Don't forget anything with area, you see that word area, you end it in square units. So this is inches, so inches squared. Okay, so 216.05 inches squared. All right, let's try another one. Okay, here I have a right rectangular prism, so let's get the base, you guys. The base is just a rectangle, base times height, so 4 times 2 is 8, and 2 of them is going to be 16 for the top one. Okay, so the perimeter of the base, okay, don't forget, you got a 4 here, you got a 2 here. In the back part, there's no 4 there, but there is a 4 there, and then it's understood there's a 2 there, so the perimeter of the base is 12. So the perimeter times the height is going to be 18, so I add 18 and 16 together, and I get 34 meters squared. Okay, that one's an easy one. Let's step it up a little bit, you guys. Okay, this is a right hexagonal prism, you guys, and I'm going to show you a different way to find the area of a hexagon, you guys. So here's a hexagon. This is that front piece right there. This only works for hexagons. It makes up 6 equilateral triangles inside, and each equilateral triangle has area x squared root 3 over 4. Remember that. That is magic, you guys, especially when you get into calculus. That formula will help you a lot. X squared root 3 over 4 for equilateral triangles. And since there's 6 of them up there, I'm going to multiply it by 6. And of course, the 6 and 4 reduce. So the one base is 3x squared root 3 over 4. Okay, so that's the front base, and then you got the back base. So 2 of them is going to be 3x squared root 3. The 2 of them, I just cancel out that 2 right there. All right, so here I go, and then I did 2 things at once. So here's my x squared, here's my x, is 7.5, and then I changed root 3 to a decimal because I got a decimal right there, so it's going to be a decimal answer. So square 7.5 first, and then go ahead and multiply it by these two numbers, and you get 292. So there's 2 bases right there. All right, now the perimeter is going to be, the perimeter is over here. 7.5 times 6 sides, you get 45, and then perimeter times the height is 810. So now I add 810 to that 292, and I get 1,102.28 centimeters squared. All right. Okay, so surface area of a cylinder, this is a little bit easier, you guys. It's just 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. All right, so let's do this for a couple of them here. So here's one right here. So here's r is the 7 and h is the 12. So you're just following that formula right up there. So 2 pi r squared is going to get me 2 pi times 7 squared, and then plus 2 pi times r times h is 7 times 12. And then multiply those out, and I get 266 pi feet squared. Okay, of course, most books like to change them now to decimals. I've been teaching so long that they used to leave it in terms of pi, but now they're changing them to decimals. So I don't know what your book does. So there it is in decimals right there. Okay, let's try another one right here. And this is the same thing. You just got to recognize that radius up on top is 5 because the diameter is 10. So here we go, same thing. So you get 210 pi inches squared, or 659.4 inches squared.